everyone, and welcome back to the Continuum. I hope the audio is alright. I hope you can hear me. Today we're going to be watching Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. I was just about to say The Voyage Home then, but that'd be the wrong movie, wouldn't it? Excuse me if I'm eating a Calippo here. It's quite hot at 9 o'clock at night. It's still about 23 degrees, 24 degrees. So I will be chewing down on one of these. We're just going to wait for a few more people to come in. I've just tweaked the stream again, so there'll be one or two people we'll be waiting on. Hopefully they're going to come in. So before we've got so far, Robbie in the chat. Hello, Robbie. I hope you can hear me okay. I think I need to bring it a bit closer, or I need to get closer to the mic. 1 second. That's about as close as I'm going to get. So I hope you can hear me okay. Yeah, so like I said, we're going to be watching Star Trek 3, The Undiscovered Country, which is one of my favourite films. It's not the best one of the, shall we say, the Kirk era, but it is definitely one of the better ones. Definitely always find the even-numbered ones always the best ones. 2, 4, and 6, and 8, funny enough, which is The Wrath of Khan, The Voyage Home, Undiscovered Country, and First Contact. And the odd numbered ones are not the best ones. Motion Picture, Search for a Spark. Well, the Search for a Spark wasn't too bad, but it wasn't great. And of course, The Final Frontier. So yeah, it wasn't. So like I said, I hope you can all hear me okay. And we're gonna get on. So we're just wait for one or two more people to come in before we start. So yeah. By the way, for you, some of you haven't seen the Lower Decks yet, it's not too bad. There's got one or two problems with it, I think, but all in all, it's not too bad. It's all right. It's a pretty good show. Just watched the second episode. Rewatched the second episode yesterday after yesterday's Costa Trek, which, by the way, I hope you check out after the stream if you want to learn some Trek trivia. I think me and some of my co-hosts need to do the same after some of the questions that were posed yesterday. But all in all, it was actually good fun. I do recommend tuning in next Saturday for that. Also, while I've got you here, if you wouldn't mind, if you haven't already, hit the like on the video, and of course, don't forget to subscribe if you don't mind. I would appreciate it. So yeah, I hope you're all doing well. I see there's 2 watching now. Come say hello in the chats. Don't be afraid. I don't bite. I said so here we've got Robbie Duffield. I'm just checking out the. Okay, just close my phone, sorry. So yeah, so what I was saying, I hope you all had a good weekend as well, and I hope wherever it is you are, is a lot cooler than where I am right now, because it's absolutely boiling. It's absolutely boiling. Okay. Could you just let me know in the chats what the audio's like? Can you let me know if you can actually hear me? That'd be cool. I would appreciate that. Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? What's up, Sith Lord? How you doing? Hope you're doing okay. Like I said, I'm just waiting for a couple more to rock up. If we can get up to 5 in the next few minutes, then we'll start the show. We're doing a watch party today, Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. The audio's good, fantastic, good. I'm glad, because over the last few streams, I've had some. Yeah, I know it's a little low, but it's the highest I can get my microphone up to. I'm afraid it won't go. Oh, let me try something actually. Hold on. It might help if I do something. Where is it? Just move that out the way there. Sorry. Go into system. See if we can check on system sounds. I hope it helps. I don't know if it will. Probably won't. Is that better? Because otherwise, it's going to be problematic. Helps. I don't know if it will. Probably won't. Is that better? So, I think that's the best it's going to get, to be honest. It's going to be problematic. Right. Helps. I don't know if it will. Probably won't. Okay. That's the best it's going to get, I'm afraid. Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm going to have to probably bring my mic a lot closer. But I said, as I said, the problem is when it was louder, there was also an echoing problem, which I had, and it wasn't going to be any better. But I already have ordered a new computer, so I'll be getting a new computer soon. And so obviously the problems will be rectified by then. I'm also using an old computer, so you know it's just the way it is, I'm afraid. In fact, let me try something. Just one more thing here. Let me try in the settings. Maybe there's something in the setting audio. Uh, Microphone. And we're back. Sorry about that, ladies and gents. Yeah, that's the best it's going to get, I'm afraid. I can't get it any better than that. Okay, so we'll just have to go on. And I'll try my best to speak even louder. Okay, well, we've got 4 watching now. That's not a bad result. For those who just join us, Sith Lord, like I said, we're going to watch Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. So if you want to watch along with us, we're going to start in the next few seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and press play now. If it lets me. Wait. Okay, press play now. All right, it's playing. I hope. Play. Okay, now we're playing. Yeah, sorry about that. For Gene Roddenberry. Nice little intro there. Nicholas Meyer film. Star Trek 6. The Undiscovered Country. I love the music in this film. The music in this is absolutely brilliant. And it's also this was also the final movie with the whole the original series crew. And although it came after the Next Generation started, this is clearly sort of the ending of the TOS era and sort of the beginning of this new age for the Federation, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. James Doohan and Walter Koenig. Nichelle Nichols. Oh, she was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful back in the day. And George Takei, because he only got a small part in this as he was Captain Sulu. Originally, he was already supposed to be captain of the Excelsior in Star Trek V. Apparently, Will Shatner didn't want him as a captain yet. He still wanted him part of the crew. Apparently. And also, the Vulcan female in this movie was originally going to be Saavik. Originally, Saavik was supposed to be the one of the antagonists in this movie, but they decided to change actress and, of course, change the character as well. But originally, it was meant to be Saavik, who was originally played by Kirstie Alley in Wrath of Khan. I can't remember the one who portrayed her in Star Trek 3. Search for Spock. But what I do know is the actress who played her in the third movie is married to Scott Bakula, who played Captain Archer in Star Trek Enterprise. So there you go. There's another Star Trek couple for you. Just like Rebecca Romijn and Jerry O'Connell, who voices Commander Ransom in the new Lower Deck show. If you didn't know that, they are married. And of course, Rebecca Romijn plays number 1 in the... Is going to be playing number 1 in the upcoming Strange New Worlds movie. So, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the Pike show. What I'm not looking forward to, though, is the Section 31 show. I find Section 31 was always something, especially in Deep Space Nine, you know, Sloan and Section 31 were like a spice that is sprinkled on the show, you know, to make it a bit better. You know, because Sloan was like Q to Bashir what? Sorry, was Sloan was to Bashir what Q was to Picard, wasn't he? You know, sort of like an antagonist. He kind of messed. You know, he would mess with Bashir quite a lot and interfere in his life. But yeah. So we just saw the moon Praxis explode, and we're now on the Excelsior, and we're getting a captain's log from Captain Sulu. Robbie Duffield says, I think we're watching at pretty much the same time. I agree about Sector 31. I really look forward to this Strange New Worlds. I do look forward to Strange New Worlds as well. I am looking forward to that show. So now feeling an earthquake, and you see the cup rattling through the ship. Obviously, they experienced the lower end of the shockwave or energy wave. That's Dimitri who passes on the visions to Tuvok in a Voyager episode later on, because we actually come back to this point in Voyager, which I thought was really cool. It's a shame we actually never got a Sulu series, or at least a Sulu movie. I think that would have been cool. You know, at least one adventure on the Excelsior. I think would have been awesome. So now flying straight through the shockwave, as they know they're already inside it, and trying to escape it would have been pointless. So fly through with shields up. What I love though is how they got in the TOS movies the computer systems and the screens. They're sort of like a cross between the TOS era and the next gen era computer systems, the LCAR system, which I think is really cool. Robbie says, damage report. Yeah, that's right. Got to give those damage reports. So, Sulu just sent out a hail to the Klingons, asked if there's any, if they're requiring any assistance. But there was no response, and they're just determined that Praxis has now been destroyed. That's a, I gotta say, actually, for a Star Trek movie, that's a pretty bad map painting, I think. So they've just got to communicate from the Klingons now. They let them know that they have it under control and there's no need for assistance, and they're to remain outside the neutral zone. This transmission ends now. An incident. So she'll just ask her, she'll report this, sir. He's like, are you kidding? You're duh. Of course you've got to report it. And here comes the big meeting. So here we are with the TOS bridge, or at least the main cast. They'll come into a briefing room. I'm a bit surprised that they're all there, especially with all the top brass there. Yet they're not too. They don't know what's going on. So they're now standing up for the senior ranks to walk in. Oh, yeah, that's refreshing. Sorry about that, it's just really hot here. Okay, so we're now in the briefing room, and Mr. Spock has walked in, and he's briefing on what happened. That a Federation starship was monitoring a gas giant, and they witnessed an event which were, of course, was practices exploding due to minimal safety provisions. And the Klingon Empire now only has 50 Earth years left. What do you quite surprised? I mean, I know the Klingon homeworld was probably in danger, but the Klingons had an empire, so I'm sure they could have set up on another planet somewhere. I mean, just because the moon damaged their own planet, they could easily evacuate. But all right, it's a movie. It's not that important. But here's letting you know, due to this incident, that this will now be the end of the war, or at least a cold, excuse me, or at least ending the Cold War between Starfleet and the Klingon Empire. There's Cisco's father. The Admiral we were talking now, I don't know, I think it's Cartwright. He also plays Ben Sisko's father in Deep Space Nine. He's a brilliant actor as well. He's seen him in a lot of stuff. You should, if you will. I think he was in To Kill a Mockingbird as well. He was excellent in that. Kirk is showing his dismay towards the idea of bringing Klingons into the Federation. Spock has just said we've volunteered you to rendezvous with the Klingon ship and escort into Federation space. I personally vouch for you in this matter, Captain. You vouch for me? How dare you? And Kirk is right. A full ambassador probably would be better equipped, but he's not there to handle the negotiations. He's just there to escort him into space, into Federation space. So what can you do? Admiral Cartwright says, "No." Robbie says Kirk isn't happy. No, he isn't. I can understand why as well. He spent his entire career fighting Klingons, as well as the Klingons killing his son. That he only knew for like 5 minutes, but hey, How could you vouch for me? That was arrogant presumption. He can't let go of his anger towards them. So don't believe him. Don't trust that. You can't believe him. You can't trust them. Spock says they're dying. Spock said they're dying. So Kirk replied, "Let them die." What he doesn't know, of course, is that he's being bugged at the moment. Sorry, spoiler if anyone hasn't seen this movie yet. But yeah, this room is bugged, so they're being recorded. Look at that. That's beautiful, isn't it? The space dock, Earth space dock. It's absolutely gorgeous. That's absolutely gorgeous. Ah, here she is, the evil Vulcan. Like I said, this character was originally supposed to be the character Savick from Star Trek 2 and Star Trek 3. However, they brought in a new actress, Kim Cattrall, from Sex and the City, or Sex in the City, whatever it's called. But yeah, mind you, she did a lot of movies throughout the 80s and into the early 90s. It was only then really sort of in the mid 90s she kind of disappeared really. After Sex and the City, that was it. She just disappeared. So Kirk has now asked Space Dock permission to disembark. Oh, what's going on? Hold on. Ah! Sorry, my thing just paused there because it's buffering. Whoops. One sec, come on. Just give me a second, guys. I'll be right back. This happens. Happens from time to time. One sec. Just need to refresh it. Come on. Load, 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 load. Sorry, guys. Give me a minute. Alright, Robbie, if you will leave me, take care, mate. Alright, departed. 16 minutes, there we go. Let that load. I don't know what happened there, it just cut out for some reason. Play then. Do you not recognise? Alright. That a turning point has been reached in the affairs of the Federation. It's doing it again. God damn it. Give me 1 second, guys. Just want to hit pause there where you are. I'll get this rectified if I can. God damn it. Do this a bit differently. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it happens. You get technical issues. It's just the way it goes, guys. There's nothing you can do. But it happens. It happens. Crap. Alright, give me 1 second. I'll try and get this done again. Second. Sorry about this, guys. Difficulties. Just ask me for a capture. 1 sec. So 6, the undiscovered country. Hit that. Yeah. I do apologise, guys. Give me 1 second. This is yeah, it's bound to happen once in a while, guys. I do apologise. Just technical issues. Captain Trek, how are you? I'm good, thank you. I'm just having a few technical issues here. Sorry, I'll be back. Just need 2 seconds. Put locker. I hope you're doing well, Captain Trek. I'm good. Thank you for asking. Robbie says, hi, Captain Trek. Yeah, like I said, I'm just having a technical issue. Should be back momentarily. Hopefully we get this working properly. Start at 6, then this level. Okay, so let's load quickly, and hopefully we can get on. Come on, load. Since my internet's a bit slow today. Come on, load, 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 load. Let's give that a minute. Let it load for a second or two. Hopefully it does. Otherwise we have to do something else. Worst watch party ever. God damn it. Might be my internet. Maybe my internet's slow today. I don't know. I've done quite a bit actually over the internet today. So maybe that's why. Otherwise we're going to have to call it off. I don't know. Oh no. What server is it on? Get rid of that. Okay, we're just going to take it up to I think about 15 minutes, weren't we? It's not letting me track forward. It's starting at the beginning, but it's not letting me skip forward. Oh, God damn it. Okay, here we go. It was about 15 minutes, wasn't it? Here we are, 15 minutes. No, it wasn't. 13 minutes, I think we were at. Okay. So Captain's just given the order, and Savick. So we're now at 13 minutes 20. And Jim's given the order, and Savick, sorry, this female Volker, can't remember her name now, turned around and said, may I remind you about Starfleet regulations, something or other. Captain says, maybe you could read the book on the screen. I've not actually read the book. Maybe I could do that one day. Read a book online. Read the book over a stream. That would be pretty cool, actually. Not many people do that, could they? No. So the Enterprise is now leaving space dock. Scott is looking pretty chuffed with himself in engineering, and the Enterprise is on its way to space to meet the Klingons. Now we've got a captain's log from Captain Kirk. It says, I never trusted the Klingons, and I never will. I can never forgive them for the death of my boy. Poor Jim Kirk. Goes around gallivanting the galaxy, meeting all these women. Has a son he doesn't know about, and when he meets him, within a year or so, the guy gets killed. Jimmy just gets everyone killed. Got Spock killed. Got son killed. Shocking. Even the Chancellor gets killed, doesn't he? I guess these were not his golden years after all. Oh, well, it happens, doesn't it? It happens. So anyway, the new lieutenant is in Kirk's office. Sorry, Kirk's quarters. In his younger years, I think Kirk probably would have been all over her. Who knows? Ooh, a prideful Vulcan. That's a red flag right there, isn't it? Hmm? That's a red flag right there. Valeris, that was the name. And Spock is singing her praises. Saying that he was a sponsor during the academy and she hasn't let him down, essentially, which is pretty good. So she addresses him as a kindred intellect, and that yeah, she's asking him as a turning point has been reached in the affairs of the Federation. Spock tells her that history is replete with turning points, and you must have faith, and to let the universe unfold as it should. What he doesn't know is that she has other orders. She's a bad little Vulcan. She's an evil Vulcan. It's my kind of Vulcan. Anyway, she's a bad little Vulcan. No, I don't think she could ever really replace Spock. Savick probably might have done a good job, but not her. She was terrible. And here comes a nice Klingon D7. They didn't really change much, did they? The D7s. Unlike the way they, like, for instance, they refitted the Constitution class and the other and the rest of the TOS fleet, but the D7s and the older ships, so the Birds of Prey, they never really got an overhaul. They're just sort of a bit of kit bashes that were done, and they were called change them from D7 to Katingas or whatever. But they never really changed, to be honest. You're ahead of me. Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's alright if you're a little bit ahead. There might be someone who might be a little bit behind, but that's my fault that if you're ahead, because I had a few problems, a few technical issues. So yeah, but hey, it happens. This is actually my first watch party in a really long time. Because I used to do these all the time over the last couple of years, and then I don't know. I left YouTube for a while because it gets stressful when you start getting the likes and the subs and everything. It becomes overwhelming. It does become overwhelming, or at least it became overwhelming for me, and I jacked it in for a while. Yeah. You do sort of become obsessed with it, you know. How many likes have I got in this video? How many hours were watched? And how many subscribers have I got? You do kind of lose it, you know, and everything else sort of becomes irrelevant, you know. And I just got lost in the whole YouTube thing. You know, that's why I scrapped my channel for a while. It was just becoming too much. Especially now that I've got the job that I'm doing as well, which, although the hours are long, the pay is fantastic. I stopped worrying about I stopped worrying about all this, and then eventually I just came back again, and I started doing now. Well, first I started just doing gaming videos, and over the last 2 weekends, been doing obviously the Question of Trek, which if you haven't seen it yet, check them out after the stream, and I hope you enjoy them. And hope you come and see us on the future ones as well, as are next Saturday. There we go. Chancellor Gorkon and General Chang. I can't remember this actor's name. I keep forgetting actors' names. I can remember the characters' names, but yeah, he plays the guy playing Chancellor Gorkon now. He plays the Cardassian interrogator in the Chain of Command. Well, we've got to talk about it. It's just something I thought, let's do some live streams again. And I spoke to some people, and yeah, you wanted to join in, and and it's been a lot of fun since. And I've enjoyed doing it as well. Spending all week looking for questions to ask, and ships to find to sort of bamboozle them. Clearly, last week's was a bit too hot, was a bit too easy. The one just gone, so I have to make it a bit harder. Excuse me. So General Chang has just faced off with Kirk. He says, just called him a warrior. Klingons don't look happy to be there, to be honest. They're sort of having to swallow their pride because they can't take care of themselves. Oh, that's a little racist, isn't it? Oh, they all look alike. Yeah, and what about that smell? Ah. Valeris had just told him, asked these two guys, have you got work? He said, yes, ma'am. We'll get to it. Ron Milanale. The Klingons having problems with this with the Soviets because they like to rip the meat from the bones, rather than using cutlery. I know plates full of gach here, is there? He says you've not. He says Shakespeare, Scene 3, Act 1. He says you've not experienced Shakespeare till you read it in the original Klingon. I said first time I ever heard that, and I was a kid. I think it was about 10 when this came out, or 11. And I thought to myself, Klingon had their own Shakespeare. Yeah, there was a Will Shakespeare on the Klingon homeworld on Kronos, but no. General Chang. General Chang just asked Kirk if he'd be willing to give up Starfleet. Chang just said to Kirk, in space, all warriors are cold warriors. Checo said, we do believe that all planets have a sovereign claim to inalienable rights. And then Gorkon's daughter says, "You've got to hear yourselves. Inalienable rights. Why? The very word sounds racist." One of the Klingons mentioned that this could be the end of the Klingon culture, to which Bones obviously said, "That's not true." And James Chazor said, "To be or not to be, that is the question. What we need is breathing room." And Kirk says, "Hitler, 1938." And it's true, Hitler did say something like that they needed breathing room. Well, the meal's over, and they're saying they're in the transporter room. Well, so he just said to Cook, "You don't trust me, do you? I don't blame you. You know, we're gonna have the hardest time living in this new era." And Chang, of course, once again antagonizing Kirk, saying that parting is such sweet sorrow. He's a bit of a dick, this guy, isn't he, Chang? I don't like him. I mean, I know he's the villain, but still, there are actually people like him that you'll come across once in a while that are absolute dicks. And they're beaming out. I was always fascinated as a kid how they did that effect, you know. Says, "I'm going to go and take this off. Please let me know if there's any way we could screw this up tonight." And they're all suffering from the effects of Romulan ale. He's making long sense. Note to the galley: Romulan ale is no longer to be served on important events. He's just about to lie down. He's been called up to the bridge. So Spock has just detected some sort of gaseous anomaly that is what seems to be coming from the Enterprise. He just asked Chekhov. He says, "Only the size of my head," because he's hungover. Oh, and a torpedo's just been fired at the D7, Chancellor Gorkon's ship. Ooh. So now they're all running around, flapping like headless chickens, and concerned of whether or not they actually fired the torpedo. And another one. There she blows. Boom. It just hit the D7. Oof. And the Klingons have now lost gravity. Have these people ever heard of seatbelts? You think they'd have some sort of special training in case this sort of thing would happen, you know? But I guess not. Guess they relied too much on the technology. So Kirk just asked Scott if they fired the torpedo. Scotty says, "No, we're still fully loaded according to inventory." And two guys in spacesuits have just beamed aboard. In gravity suits. Or spacesuits. And now killing Klingons. The only good Klingon is a dead Klingon. Hoo-ha. Wait until you get to see, yes, the pink CGI blood. Most often than not, I mean, especially Deep Space Nine, you typically saw Klingon blood to be red rather than pink, or purple rather. Can't remember, is it pink or purple? I think it's pink. Sort of where it's in between, isn't it? Pink. But yeah. So they just killed another Klingon, and then gonna kill another one. Oof! Oh, they just took off his arm, man. Fucking, this is horrific. I forgot about this. It's quite brutal. He just clearly cut off his arm. Yeah, goodbye. Another dead Klingon. Uh-oh. And they killed the Chancellor. I reckon it was Section 31 who did this. Well, who knows? Who knows? So Uhura has determined there's been some weapons firing and a lot of shouting. The two officers now making. What I don't get is how they don't detect two people beaming from and back onto the Enterprise. That's one thing that bugged me. And they just transported away some Klingon blood with them as well. Ooh, evidence. And it's all being turned back on again. Gravity's back on. Power's back on. But it's too late. Ooh. Yeah, blow them out of stars, whatever. Chancellor Gorkom is just now blaming Captain Kirk for the firing on the Klingon ship. Uh-oh. They're coming back, and they're now going to fire on the Enterprise. He's now just told them to signal their surrender. Kirk is surrendering himself to the Klingons. Just giving a little look at Spock. Bones just asked him, are we firing torpedoes? And Kirk said, I don't know. Spock just said, I'm responsible for getting you into this. Let me go. Says, no, I'm going over. You'll be responsible for getting me out of this. And Spock has just placed the tracking beacon on Kirk's shoulder, which nobody notices throughout the entire trial later on after this. But okay. So they're now being led down the corridor and escorted to where the Chancellor is. McCoy with all his equipment with him. It probably would have been best just to beam them over to sickbay, to be honest. But then again, they wouldn't trust them, would they? Because they were assassinated. But do you not have a surgeon? Said we did until this disgrace. They said, well, my God, man, let me at him. Let me save his life. I love Dr. McCoy. He's great. Dr. McCoy's the best. So I want to move him up on the table now, so Dr. McCoy can operate or do what he's got to do. Oh God, that's disgusting. Look at that. Look at that. It's just oozing out of him. It's pumping out of his chest, man. So he's now trying to give him CPR, trying to get his heart pumping to get the blood through his body to save his life. Oof. He's motioning to Kirk to come closer. He's going to kiss him. He looks up at Kirk and says, "Don't let it end this way, Captain." And that was with his last breath. And he's dead. They're not happy. Uh-oh. Chang is now arresting Kirk and Bones under Article number 184 of your interstellar law, and they're being placed under arrest and charged with assassinating the Chancellor of the High Council. Commander Uhura. All right. So Spock is now taking command of the Enterprise as of 0230 hours. He's also told Valeris that they're able to track Kirk, so they're not to worry. And they now have to try to piece together what happened. So according to the ship's logs, they did fire a torpedo, but according to inventory, all torpedoes are aboard the ship. Ah, this guy again. He was in Star Trek 4. There'll be no peace as long as Kirk still lives. So they're now at the president's office, president of the Federation, and he just asked now Sarek if there's any way to extradite these men. And he's sort of disputing these three. So you can't seriously believe that Kirk would assassinate the Chancellor. And the Romulan ambassador said, "What we believe is irrelevant." So it looks like Kirk and McCoy are going to stand trial on Kronos, or Kronos as it's called, or spelt rather. Captain said, "I like the CGI blood." Yeah, it hasn't aged well, has it? It hasn't aged well at all. But hey, what can you do? staff is asking on their progress and want them to return. They said, we're having engine difficulties and unable to return. So the president's now in contact with Gorkon's daughter. Excuse me. And she's letting him know that the conference will go forward. And she's told him that we want the proceedings to go forward, but you will not make any attempt to rescue James Kirk in any form of military operation, and they're not going to hand him over either. So he's kind of stuck there for now. Holograms. The generals now come up with plans of attack. So we can take the whole by force and go out shooting. It says war is obsolete, or we are in danger of becoming. Better to die on our feet than to live on our knees, the general says. And she said, that's not what my father wanted. And Chan replies, what your father died for what he wanted. So it's true. But it's not his fault. He said, Kirk will pay for my father's death. So here we are now on Kronos, and now being raised into the. I'm not sure if they're actually being raised up, or that was just the camera going down. I'm not sure. It's difficult to tell, really. But they're all shouting, "Kurt, Kurt, Kurt, Kurt." It's Worf, Michael Dorn. By the way, the character Michael Dorn plays in this movie was also called Worf. Just so you know, you don't hear his name, but you see it in the credits. This character's also called Worf. So maybe Worf's father, Moog, was the son of Worf. Who knows? He named Worf after his father. Who knows? It's possible. It's possible. So they're now General Chang's recounting the events and what happened. That they were on the Enterprise having dinner. And the crew of the Enterprise are watching it on screen. So Worf was trying to do his best to defend him. Hey, Joseph, how are you doing? Joey Petrie, greetings from the present. Timestamp, please. Timestamp is. I'll have to tell you. Oh, no. It's crashed again. God. Ah, crap. It's just crashed again. Right. Get rid of that. I'd love to tell you, man, but it won't say. Can someone put the timestamp in the chats, please? What timestamp we're on? I think we're about. Hold on. Crap. Yeah, it's not showing up, mate. I think we're at Kirk's trial. I don't know if you can skip ahead, but we're at Kirk's trial, and Dr. McCoy is currently being interrogated. I can't see the timestamp, I'm afraid, because I'm watching it from a site, so it's not showing the time. If you're watching on DVD, you should be able to go to that scene. Got it, cool. So right now, Chang is interrogating McCoy. Is asking him, did we not... Sorry. was Chancellor Gorko not alive when he was under your care? He said, barely. He said, be honest now, doctor. How many barely alive patients have you saved? He says, so you're due for retirement. Do your hands shake? He says, I was nervous. No, doctor, you were incompetent. He said it was the last best hope for the in the universe for peace. I hope you're doing all right, Joseph. Hope you're okay. By the way, I sent you a message in the DM, so you might want to check that out later. Sorry, guys, it's really hot in here. But James Tiberius Cook. What were your favourite authors say, Captain? So he's now proclaiming that Kirk was taking revenge for the death of his son. So they're now bringing in the captain's personal log, which wonders me, how did they get that? Well, clearly it was Valeris who handed in that log. Or shall we say, copied it and handed it over to the Klingons. I never trusted Klingons, and I never will. How did they get his personal log? That's supposed to be confidential. Call him a career-minded opportunist. Kirk was many things, but was never career-minded. Captain Jack, spies can do anything. Spies can do anything. That's true. That nobody's noticed this thing on his shoulder that Spock placed there is mind-boggling. Like, all those Klingons stood behind him in the crowd haven't noticed this thing on him. I don't know. It's not exactly part of the uniform, but alright. So Chad just asked him, are you not responsible for the actions of your men under your command? And he said, yeah, I am. And should it be, if it can be proved that these actions were carried out by your men, Captain Check, because quantum, Johnny Petty Viridian patch. So Sulu's just told his comms officer to send a transmission to the Enterprise saying they'll be standing by to help you. So what have you been up to, Joseph? You had a good weekend? Have you done anything much? Was Lieutenant Rand there just a minute ago? The judge that was speaking out, he sounds a lot like Gowron. But it's not him, though. It's a different actor. So, due to the peace talks coming up in good faith, the death sentence has been commuted. It is the judgment of this court that possibility of reprieve or parole will be taken from this place, dilithium mines, the planet colony, Rurapente, to spend the rest of your natural lives. Nice. Rurapente. Wow, you said hello, not greetings. Are you all right? Ah. One second, I just need to turn the fan here. Oh god. So Spock is just stood up, he's walking across the bridge. And he's asking the lieutenant to bring on the recording of the torpedo that hit the D7. Chekhov stated that it must have been the Enterprise. And Scotty replies, "Impossible. We've accounted for every torpedo." And he said, "We haven't fired a torpedo. Someone else did." And they're about to piece together now that there was a cloaked ship. They say if there wasn't another ship next to us, the close would have seen her. And then Falari says, "A bird of prey, a cloaked ship." Fine when she's cloaked. So Scott just said a bird of prey cannot fire when she's cloaked. However, Spock being logical as he is, he said, you know, obviously this one can. Joe just said this is a bit difficult since Conti is in my time zone. I like either my classical greeting from the future or Star Warsian hello there. Yeah, we do have the same time zone, don't we? Where I think it's 10 o'clock here. So what? It's about 4 p.m. in the States now. About 10 past 4, something like that. Or in certain parts of the States, at least, anyway. But yeah. So Chekhov proposed that the killers must have transported from the cloaked ship. And Spock said, well, either way, our logs show that we fired 2 torpedoes. And whoever killed the assassin must be here. So what they're looking for now are 2 pairs of gravity boots. But clearly what they're wearing was a Starfleet Starfleet issued uniform. So there's a whole ton of gravity boots. So what they didn't show was how they were going to distinguish which gravity boots they were. Because there would have been a whole ton of them. Joe Petro, East Coast is 6, Central 7, and West Coast is 9. Hawaii 10. Jesus, really? Right. So here they are now on Rurapente, this ice cube of a planet. Robbie was sorry, I'm having technical difficulties. Don't worry, Robbie. We've all had technical difficulties. We'll bring you back up to speed. Don't worry. Yeah, I've had twice technical difficulties today. So they're now getting acquainted with the jailer. They said punishment here means exile from the prison to the surface, and you'll be where you freeze to death. We just said to him, if you work well, you'll be treated well. If you work badly, you will die. And some sort of I don't know, it's not a targ, is it? Some sort of, well, it might be a polar targ. Who knows? Maybe Klingons have polar targs. Yeah. And the guy's already dead. That's how cold it is. He's already frozen to death. Damn. In my book, this is the best start. This is definitely one of the best ones, yeah. I think in the TOS era, at least, this and the Wrath of Khan are the two best ones. You know, Voyage Home is okay. Didn't mind it too much. But yeah, Wrath of Khan and this one are definitely the two. They are the two best Kirk era Trek movies, in my opinion, at least. Mm-hmm. I mean, the first one had the best visual effects. Search for Spock was all right. You know, I hold the Search for Spock in the around about the same as the Final Frontier. You know, they weren't really great, but you know they weren't that bad either. You know, they were just okay movies. Ah, this is the guy who's got his nuts in his knees, and he's got testicles in his knees. There are a lot of bad ones in TOS and TDR. Well, the TNG era for me only had one good one. That was First Contact. Generations, Nemesis, and Nemesis weren't exactly. I didn't think they were great in any way. Changeling. I wonder if this changeling was one of the founders. One of perhaps the Lost 100. Because there was actually nothing that said that she couldn't be. Yeah. So just find out that they've been part of a conspiracy that they didn't know about, and that they've been set up. We're back on the Enterprise, and the crew are tearing the Enterprise inside out to try and find these boots. And they're now walking through the galley, where all the chefs are preparing dinner for the crew. It's quite a nice kitchen, I've got to say, actually. Better than my kitchen, and that's just a movie prop. Wish my kitchen looked like that. Uh-oh. Chekhov suggested that maybe they vaporized them, and Valeris said, what, like this? So she just fired a phaser from the galley, and it set off an alarm. She believes... so Valeris says perhaps the boots were thrown into the refuse. So, Uhura's just coming to the galley with security asking if someone just fired a phaser. So Scott is there, who's fired that Spock has just said, I believe you have difficulties with the warp drive. There's nothing wrong with a bloody thing, he replies. Mr. Scott, if we find a way, if we have to end up back at Space Dock, the assassin find a way to get rid of their footwear. And we'll never see the captain, Dr. McCoy, alive again. Oh, could take weeks, sir, he said. Can someone let Robbie Duffield know what the timestamp is, please? Because it's not showing it on mine, unfortunately, because I'm watching it from a streaming site, which is a bit glitchy, unfortunately. Can someone drop the timestamp, please? Someone? Anyone? Crap. Timestamp. We're currently on Rura Pente now, and Kirk is in a fight. I don't know what the timestamp is. If someone could drop it in the chats, I would appreciate it. Cheers. Uh-oh. Kirk's now surrounded. He's got this horny beast coming towards him. Yeah, he's now being attacked by this weird purple, pink fucking monster. Oh. Oh. Right in the nards. He's making this funny noise. 1 hour. Alright, thanks, Joseph. I was looking at that thing at knee. He says, I was looking at that thing had knees. He said, those were not his knees. Kirk sort of looks back and says, no one keeps their genitals in the same place. He's just sent McCoy over to see if he's alright and let him know we're not holding a grudge. He says, well, suppose he's holding a grudge. So, do you want to get out of here? He says, there's got to be a way. Inman is a stunning woman. She is a good-looking woman, you're right. She's a very good-looking woman. So they're now lying in bed at night. And Kirk's just asked Bones, are you afraid of the future? Well, those were the stress of trying to convey by McCoy. He said, that's not what I mean. He said, some people are afraid of the future. What might happen? Cook said he was terrified. So what terrified you specifically? He said, no more neutral zone. That he was used to hating Klingons this whole time. It never occurred to take Gorkon at his word. Spock was right, he said. And because he said, try not to be hard on yourself. We all felt exactly the same. He said, no, some of us felt a lot worse. Rubbing off his Spock is right. Spock was right. Jace, how you doing? How's Trix? Good, good. How are you doing? We're currently watching Star Trek 6. We're about an hour and 10 minutes in. So if you want to join us, that's the timestamp, about an hour and 10 minutes. That changeling woman just snuck up on him while he's in bed. He's just about to whack her with a rock. And She's now promising, or sort of telling him that she knows a way out, a way to escape. She says, we can get past the energy shield, but getting off the planet is the problem. She says, I can't do it alone, but I'm the likeliest candidate to get you out of this hellhole. She has nice contacts. She does, doesn't she? I like what Dr. McCoy says next. Jason, the second best Star Trek, first being the Wrath of Khan. That's true, yeah. In fact, I just said that a minute ago. I think I said that about a minute ago. Wrath of Khan is the best one, and then this one. Actually, McCoy says, what is it with you anyway? Because Kirk always gets the women, and McCoy just doesn't understand it. And Christian Slater dares to wake up Captain Sulu. And has just told him that Starfleet wants to know the whereabouts of Enterprise. Because they're refraining to acknowledge the signal to return to space dock. They just told the ensign to signal Starfleet that we have no idea of the location of Enterprise. They have no idea of the location of the Enterprise. He says, sir, have you got a hearing problem, son? No, sir. Jay says, the shapeshifter Iman, was she still with Bowie? I don't know. Don't know. Jay said, Christy Slater forgot the... Yeah, Christy Slater was in this, man. He's still pretty much... He's one of those people that barely ages, you know. You look at him now, he still pretty much looks the same now as he did back then. Ruby Differ, First Contact and Wrath of Khan are gripping films. First Contact is a great film. First Contact was one of those films that you had to have watched both Best of Both Worlds and Deep Space Nine to understand the what the Defiant is and Picard's relationship with the Borg and everything else. That was one of the best. That was a full-on, tricky experience, wasn't it? Same as the Wrath of Khan, really. If you hadn't seen the episode Space Seed, you wouldn't really know what how deep the whole thing goes. Yeah. To anyone else, it's just that was just a sci-fi movie. But yeah. Oh, god damn, it's hot. They found the boots. Mandel Merc, how you doing? Hey, we're doing well. We're just watching Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. Ruby Duffy says, The Wrath of Khan was a cheap film too, but actors were brilliant at just... It did have a lower budget. The reason it had a lower budget than the first film, because the first film did not do well in the movies. It was kind of a. It bombed. It was a long. All the visual effects were great. The first one, it was a kind of a dull film. That's why the second one had a. That's why the second one had a much lower budget, but they had a phenomenal director. It was one of the movies that Gene Roddenberry hated, by the way. Gene Roddenberry did not like The Wrath of Khan. He did not like it whatsoever. Crewman Dax. What a name. Jay Pedro, Mando Burke, hey, you are subscribed here too? Great. Jay says, nearly got thrown out of the flicks when Worf went hand to hand with the Borg in the First Contact. Me stand up loud. Yes, Worf, kick ass. Yeah, well, Worf was a wrecking machine, except for the few times when he'd get tossed aside. But, yeah. Worf was a beast. But, yeah, no, but Wrath of Khan, you're right, Robbie. Wrath of Khan did have a lower budget than the first one. But it was they just had a great writer and a phenomenal director. By the way, in that movie, you know that Ricardo Montalban and Will Shatner did not share one scene together in that movie, in the whole film, which makes it even bizarre. Really, you had, two movie sets, sort of two bridges, two different crews, but they never actually met in a scene or on filming. By the way, apparently. Robbie Duffy, assimilate this. Not again. The line must be drawn here. That was brilliant. That was a good line. Assimilate this. Boom. Jay says, wasn't Khan directed by Mike Myers and then wrote Undiscovered Country? I think so, yeah. I don't know if he wrote Undiscovered Country. I didn't see. I don't remember seeing his name in the credits. But he did. I think it was him who directed Wrath of Khan. Yeah. So the shapeshifter woman's just shapeshifted away out of those chains by turning into a little girl. The little girl with a deep woman's voice. Come on, we don't have a lot of time. Alrighty. That's hilarious. So we're going on. And they're crawling through these tunnels. As you just changed back again to a nice hairy beast. So the escape is going swimmingly. So far, so good. I'm not surprised Kurt gets a little bit suspicious. It's just a little too easy. Oh yeah, as well as where did you get the coats from, All these extra layers for them to wear to stay warm. So they're now making their way through a canyon. Someone else who tried to escape once, obviously, got caught and froze to death. Jay says, that's correct. Both Montalban and Shatner never met. Remember reading about that? Yeah, it's true. I know they never met while on set. And they never shared a scene together either, which was just really good filmmaking. But I think the motion picture is pretty boring, to be honest. I agree with that. That's actually true. It would be good if motion picture was never made and we had the big budget for running. Well, the thing is this. At the time, there were 3 movies being made. Star Wars, Superman, and Star Trek the Motion Picture. There were these three big movies, And these 3 movies really were special effects films. Wow, how did they do that sort of thing? Because these people, George Lucas and Richard Donner, and the guys at Paramount, they were experimenting with new stuff. They were doing new things that no one had ever done before. And that's what George Lucas was good at, doing stuff and Spielberg doing stuff that no one else has ever done before. That's how they made movies like, Close Encounters of the Third Kind and. Stuff like that, and just really excellent movies. Indiana Jones, because they were using camera techniques and other stuff. Another good one is, God, what the hell's his name now? He made the Evil Dead movies. He invented a few new camera techniques himself to make those movies. So it was in that time. It was a these were the pioneers of modern movie making, to be honest. Jay says, the first wasn't the best at all, not a good representation of Trek, I think. Well, it was Gene's sort of Gene's vision where, there's no real conflict. It was about, resolving matters, intelligently. But yeah, you're right. It was a dull film. Superman 1978 was a great film. It was a good film. But again, it was an effects film. This is when blue screen started coming into its own. With, like I said, Star Wars, Superman, and Star Trek: The Motion Picture. They were roughly made at the same time, and Battlestar Galactica as well. At that point, the TV show. Guy. What's the name? He made Knight Rider as well. Can't remember his name now. It'll come to me. But yeah, these guys. These guys pioneered, modern movie making. And about Joseph Petrick, yeah, I have been for a while. Katim is a good dude. Oh, thanks, Mando. Nice. I always like a good compliment. By the way, Mando, and those who just come today, if you didn't catch us yesterday on yesterday's episode of Question of Trek with myself, Starfleet Boy, and Trek Cat, we had a great time. And yeah, if you haven't watched it yet, be sure to check that out after this, because it was a good show. And the next one will be on Saturday, same time. So yeah, look forward to that when that comes out. So they're now trying to speak Klingon by going through the books, because they know that if they use the universal translator, it'll be picked up by their computers. So saying they now go to Rio Repente. And the coach just said, "Don't catch any bugs." Who we got here? Jason's Glenn Larson, that's the one. Glenn Larson made a whole slew of stuff. You know, Battlestar Galactica, Knight Rider, a few other shows as well, which are pretty much all about stunts and special effects. You know, which is, I think, the two things when combined together do great. That's what Peter DeLuise was good for in Stargate. That's what made Stargate so good. Around about from season 2 onwards. Not Don DeLuise, his father, Peter DeLuise. Yeah, combining action, stunts, and special effects, you know, together seamlessly. You know, didn't just rely on the special effects, and that, in my opinion, is one of the things that made the show, you know, a big hit, as well as obviously the good writing and the actors as well, who sort of at the beginning portrayed the characters to be, you know, in a similar to that of the movie to begin with, and then they sort of just evolved the characters naturally into their own thing, you know, in their own way, which was really good. So now Kirk and McCoy and the Shapeshift now made their way at the shield, and woman says it's your turn to keep at your end of the bargain. And he said, "If you say so." So he just slugged her one, and he's you know, he's really suspicious when he says these extra coats aren't standard prison issue. Jason, so my favourite Star Trek film is First Contact. I love the plot, and Patrick Stewart does so well playing a broken, angry man seeking his revenge on the Borg. And Alfred Woodard as Lily is great. Alfred Woodard was fantastic. She was a good film. She was good in that. She was good in that movie. Jay says Peter DeLuise was also in Sequest season 2. He was. He played that. I think it was a clone or something, wasn't he? I think it was a clone or something. He had those veins. Didn't he? He had a bald head and he had those veins in his body. Yeah, I remember him also in 21 Jump Street, in the old 21 Jump Street from the 80s and early 90s. Jason, SG-1 was brilliant. Still is. It is. Unfortunately, it's not on Netflix or anything, which is a shame. It's a real shame. So the plan is that obviously the plan was that if one had an accident, it would have been okay, but if two had an accident, it would have been suspicious. But getting caught escaping, that would have been sufficient. So they just killed the shapeshifter. So Kirk just asked him who it was that wanted him killed. He says, "Why? Since you're going to die anyway, might as well tell you the evil, you know, the typical evil monologue." But they just got beamed out just before he was about to reveal it. Kirk's now losing it with Spock. He says he was just about to tell us who it was. God damn it! He beamed us out at the wrong times. Jacob says, you want to go back? He says, no. Jay says, Dagwood, yeah. He said, no need for it to be, it's inconsistent. It's on constant runs on Sky. Yeah, I don't have Sky here, unfortunately. I've got Netflix in Germany. Jay says, do you want to go back? No, it's cold. Yeah. Well, it's the way it is. It's the way it is. Now, goddamn adverts keep coming up. Hold on. Click that away. Keep getting these pop-up notifications. You can really see the difference in directing from The Undiscovered Country and The Wrath of Khan. Oh yeah, definitely. And a higher budget as well. Kurt cannot know the location of the Kittimer meeting. Make course and intercept the Enterprise. So the bird of prey is now going to cloak and probably going to go into warp. Oh. Jay says, still like Sulu in this. Fly her apart then. Yeah. So if we're going faster, we'll fly apart. Fly apart then. There was an excellent game for the PlayStation 2 called Broken Mirror, I think, where the Excelsior sort of switches places with the So the crew of the Excelsior switch places with the Mirror universe, and they find themselves on the whole crew's been transplanted into the Mirror universe on the Imperial starship Excelsior, and they have to sort of fight their way through the Mirror universe to try and find their way back. And it's an excellent game. Really is a great game for its time as well. The graphics for its time were phenomenal. It was probably one of the best Star Trek games out at the time. Just says, does anyone see Tuvok of the bridge of the Excelsior asking for a friend? There is, Tim Russ is in this somewhere, but he's not as a Vulcan. He doesn't have the pointy ears. He's just there as a human. He has a very small part. I think he's in there for like one shot, but yeah, but he's not in there as a Vulcan. So, announcement just go over the tannoy that the two assassins who they found are not dead but have been saved, and they're ready to give statements, hoping to lure the person who ordered them to kill the Chancellor to come up and try and kill them so they can catch her in the act. It's Spock. It's Valeris. Spock will be disappointed. Robbie says, I look forward to Star Trek guest stars from other Trek series in Lower Decks. If they come in, we don't know if they'll come in. They might decide not to bring them in. Spock is very disappointed and angry. An angry Spock. Ooh. Yeah, Spock. You can see that look of disappointment on Spock. So now she's pretty much being tried there on the bridge. And she says, I didn't fire the torpedoes. You can't prove anything. Says she looks at Spock and says, "You knew?" No answer. Says neither of us were hearing well that night. None of us were hearing well that night, and especially with the point where I was talking about faith. And she says, "You have all betrayed the Federation." So, you try and destroy Starfleet? He says, no, saving Starfleet. Klingons cannot be trusted. You say that. You even said so yourself, sir. Do you not wish Gorkon dead? Robbie says, Mike McMahon strongly hinted that there would be other Trek stars in lower decks, so I hope so. I'm not a big fan of the female Vulcan in this. Well, nobody is. Like I said, I mean, originally it was supposed to be Savick, the character Savick, but the actress, I think, either didn't want to come back or didn't want, what, there was something, or maybe it was some contract dispute, I don't know. But obviously because they already already had 2 actors for that character. I think they didn't want to bring in a third to play, a third actress to play that character. So they just had Kim Cattrall play a whole new Vulcan character, rather than actually as Lieutenant Savick. Yeah, Savick. God, Kirstie Alley was a babe. She was the first one to portray Savick. She was gorgeous. Oh, here comes the mind meld. She moves away, grabs her head. Come here, honey. Actually, here's a question then. If she doesn't want a mind meld, is what he's doing sort of, in a way, rape? I don't know. He's doing it against her will. I mean, I know she's guilty, but still. He's invading her mind against her will. So General, she's now naming names of who's responsible for this, or who's involved in this conspiracy. General Chang, Romulan ambassador. Looking to find out where the peace conference is. Spock is searching through her mind. Come on, Spock, you melded with Vija. This should be a piece of cake for you. Ooh. Sounds kind of dirty, actually, doesn't it? Sorry. Rose, it's morally wrong in my... Hey, isn't it? Come here, I'm going to give you my meld. No, I don't want it. Too late, you get one anyway. Ah! So, they don't know where the peace conference is. However, they can ask their friend Sulu. He probably knows. So Spock has just ordered Sulu to get Excelsior on the comms. They've already got him, sir. And Kirk saying, by communicating with us, you're breaking violations. Sulu says, I'm sorry, sir, you're breaking up. Joe says, are you watching the theatrical release or the director's cut? I have no idea. I think it's just the normal one, the theatrical cut. I don't know. I didn't actually see it in the cinema. I didn't see it until it came out on VHS at the time. So I'm guessing it's just the normal cut, though. I've not seen any scenes that. I'm watching the theatrical. Yeah, same here. So Sulu says he might not make it there on time because all the way in the Alpha Quadrant, as clearly the peace talks are taking place in the Beta Quadrant. So, yeah. And since the Enterprise is already there, they're obviously close. So they'll get there. They'll get there a lot earlier than everyone else. Robbie Duffield says, "I'm watching theatrically. Live at Love Shack says greetings." But yeah, I think we're all watching the theatrical cut. I don't think anyone's watching the director's cut, unless you're watching the director's cut, Joseph. Kirk and Spock are having a little chinwag. And he's trying to just unload his burdens onto, well, not his burdens, trying to express his deepest thoughts with Spock about his son dying and the situation with Gorkon. Spock is in his ceremonial robe. Spock is asking, is it possible? Spock is asking Kirk that is it possible that we've grown so old and inflexible that we've outlived our usefulness, and will that constitute a joke? He says, "Don't crucify yourself. This isn't your fault." He says, "Spock, you want to know something? Everybody's human." Spock says, "I find that remark insulting." What if the organic prophecy was wrong? What organic prophecy? I don't know. I don't know what prophecy you're talking about there. So here we are at the Kittimer meeting. And Admiral Carter was just looking up to see if the assassin was there. And here's General Chang's bird of prey. With Cisco's dad. Cisco's dad, yeah. Admiral Cartwright. Yeah, he just plays Cisco's dad later on, doesn't he? So the Enterprise is making haste to the Kittimer. And they'll be arriving in about 2 minutes. And then go to impulse power for Kittimer only. And they're getting there quite quickly, I might add. No, the prophet wasn't wrong. What they did was right. They entered them into a Cold War, which did actually bring peace to the quadrant and stability. However, what the point of this was, the problem with this was, with the Klingon homeworld down and the Empire sort of crumbling around them, that they would, the Klingons would have preferred to, or so we say, the majority of the Klingons probably would have preferred to go out fighting on their, die fighting essentially, than living on their knees, because they were afraid they were going to end up being subjugated and dependent on by the Federal, and obviously become dependent on the Federation. However, that's not what happened. Yeah, they were more than happy to sort of help the Klingons re-establish their own thing. And then I think, I'm not sure if season 1 or season 2, you actually see though that for at least a short time the Klingons were part of the Federation. However, that then just got retconned, so they were never part of the Federation. Yeah. The amount of retcons and rewrites in Star Trek are unbelievable. You know, the amount of times canon lore has been changed to suit a story. It's just the way it is. Star Trek writers overrated the importance of a homeworld. They did, yeah. But this movie at the time there was it was essentially social commentary on the end of the Cold War, when the Berlin Wall came down. The Berlin Wall being the neutral zone, the disappearance of the neutral zone, and obviously the Klingons were the Russians. You know, the Soviet states of Russia when that collapsed, and now the USSR is at an end, and it became a democracy, kind of. Well, at least for a short time it did under Gorbachev and Yeltsin. Putin sort of, reinvigorated the old ways, should we say. I mean, it's still somewhat of a democracy. It's still more democratic than it was when it was the USSR. But yeah, but this is what this movie is about. Essentially, the end of the Cold War and yeah, beginning of a new future. Anyway, the Enterprise is getting the 7 bells of shit knocked out of it, and Excelsior is still nowhere to be seen. Robbie Duffield says, I think Wrath of Khan also has a faster pace than this film, which helps it, but the undiscovered country is by no means the worst. No, absolutely not. Star Trek's writers... Oh, I already read that bit. Star Trek writers... I thought I said something earlier before that, you know, the Klingons had an empire, so they could have moved, you know, their capital. They could have made a planet their capital, but hey. Wouldn't made much of a movie then otherwise, would it? You know, that's just the way it is. So Spock just asked McCoy if he would be interested in performing a surgery on a torpedo. He says that sounds interesting. So there's an assassin now just drilled to hold out the glass, big enough to fit a sniper rifle through. Engineering, Scotty in engineering is quoted. The captain says, "Stacking quite a wallop. Shields are weakening." Now the Excelsior is in to help. Okay, the Excelsior's just been hit with a torpedo, but at least they're coming in fresh to the battle, which is going to give the Enterprise time to reconfigure a torpedo to find the cloaked bird of prey. God, he talks too much, this guy. The Enterprise shields are failing. And McCoy and Spock are now, as I said before, reconfiguring the torpedo. A torpedo just flowed through the hull of the Enterprise, and all Spock can say is, "The hull has been compromised." You think? Come on. McCoy says, "I'd give real money if this guy would shut up. He does talk too much." Okay, so McCoy just said, "We got a heartbeat." The torpedo's reconfigured and armed. They're closing it. McCoy says, "She's Jim, lock and load." And Kirk does his famous scene. He goes, "Fire!" And the torpedo's coming for him. Because a bird of prey has no shields when it's cloaked. That's it. Soon a target explosion of fire. Boom. Oh yeah, there's the famous bird of prey explosion. That same stock footage was used every time a bird of prey would explode. Every bird of prey explosion is exactly the same. Robbie Duffy said, "To be or not to be?" That's right, yeah. So they've now been down to the surface to try and save the president. Is it Kirk Enterprise? So everyone's been surrounded now by the away team who are rocking phasers. Admiral Carter says, "Arrest those men." Spock screams out, "Arrest yourself." And Scotty takes out the assassin. just kicks the door down and fires at him. Boom. And who is this? Dun dun dun. Who's the Klingon assassin? Rene Auberjonois. And Gorko's daughter said, "What is the meaning of all of this?" And Kirk said, "It's about saving history." And you know that there are some people who are afraid of the future. And she tells him, "You restored my father's space." And Kirk replies, "You've restored my son's." So far, despite come late to the party, you're better narrating than Bird of Prey. Well, yeah, and I don't fall asleep in my live streams either. So, you know, that's something. Robert Duffield says, Shatner K. Yeah, Shatner's awesome. Shatner looks older at the start and younger at the end. Well, what they started doing these days is they do the end scenes first and then work backwards. Because there have been times where an actor has died before the end of the movie would be shot. So before the filming would end. And obviously they had to sort of end the movie without the main actor. So what they do now in Hollywood is they shoot the end scenes first and work their way back to the beginning, and then when it comes to editing, they just rearrange it. You see. I think they started doing that with, I think it was after The Crow, the movie The Crow. They started doing that because The Crow was supposed to have a different ending, but Bruce Lee's son, what's his name? Brandon Lee got shot in that movie, didn't he? And he died. So the movie ends without him, essentially. So it was supposed to have a different ending. So they've saved the day and they've returned to the bridge, and Uhura's just notified Kirk that to return to space dock to be decommissioned. And that's it. The final voyage of the original crew, of the original series crew. Spock says, "If I was human, I believe my response would be go to hell. If I was human." He says, "Course heading, Captain. Second star to the right. Straight on till morning." All I need is a tall ship and the stars to guide her by. That's another famous quote. And there it is. And look, they left the seat there empty because Sulu's not there. He's now captain of the Excelsior. Got the final captain's log now. He said, "This will be the final voyage of the Enterprise under my command, and the history of the ship will be handed over to a new crew, and they will continue the voyages that they have begun, journeying to all the undiscovered countries yet to be found, and boldly go where no one has gone before." A good end, and that was sort of the end of the TOS era, and then the sort of war era Star Trek ended there, and the next sort of the peaceful exploration phase of the next gen came in, until obviously the Battle of Wolf 359, where then Starfleet changed their sort of their raison d'etre, and they started building warships like the Akira and the Prometheus and the Defiant and the Steamrunner and all these other different ships. Started building warships, and just in time really, because when the Dominion started striking, that was it. Johnny Pep says loved the movie. It was an excellent movie, and you got all the signatures at the end as well. And the final one, of course, being William Shatner's. And now you got the end credits. Ah, well, I'm going to pause it right there. Get rid of that. And that. And close that down. There we go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, well, gentlemen, really, I don't think there's any ladies there, unless you've been keeping yourself secret. But yeah. Robbie Duffer says, well, I'm going to go to bed now. I love the watch party. Thank you. No, thank you for coming, guys. It's you guys I do it for, and it's, you know, it's been a joy and always a pleasure. Sorry we had a couple of technical difficulties earlier where where the thing crashed, and yeah, and also lost myself on the stream. But hey, you know, that's the way it goes. But don't worry, the quality of the streams will get better once my new computer arrives, which I've ordered, but it's not going to be here till the 17th of September, unfortunately. So that's the way it is. Joey Pressure, do you assume my gender? Joseph, I didn't know you had a gender to assume. But anyway. By the way, don't forget, Joseph, to check your DM. I DM'd you earlier. I don't know if you replied yet, because I've not been on Twitter during the stream, so I'll have to check. I don't know if you have replied it. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But if you haven't, I've DM'd you. But yeah. Again, guys, thank you for coming in today. There'll be another watch party maybe during the week if I have the time or the energy. Also, don't forget to check out the next Costa Trek on Saturday at midnight, and probably another watch party on the Sunday as well. But until then, my friends, I'll leave you to obviously your own devices, and I hope you have a good week and stay safe, and obviously stay healthy too. Live long and prosper, and see you next time here in the Continuum. Good night.